It always seems impossible until it's done. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. A good head and a good heart are always a formidable combination. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. I am fundamentally an optimist. Whether that comes from nature or nurture, I cannot say. Part of being optimistic is keeping one's head pointed toward the sun, one's feet moving forward. Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies. For to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. No one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin, or his background, or his religion. People must learn to hate, and if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love. For love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. Difficulties break some men, but make others. No axe is sharp enough to cut the soul of a sinner who keeps on trying, one armed with the hope that he will rise even in the end. There is no passion to be found playing small in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. We must use time wisely and forever, realize that the time is always ripe to do right. A winner is a dreamer who never gives up. To deny people their human rights is to challenge their very humanity. Freedom would be meaningless without security in the home and in the streets. I dream of an Africa which is in peace with itself. I stand here before you not as a prophet, but as a humble servant of you, the people. If you want to make peace with your enemy, you have to work with your enemy. Then he becomes your partner. Real leaders must be ready to sacrifice all for the freedom of their people. People respond in accordance to how you relate to them. If you approach them on the basis of violence, that's how they'll react. But if you say, "We want peace, we want stability," we can then do a lot of things that will contribute towards the progress of our society. It is what we make out of what we have, not what we are given, that separates one person from another. We can change the world and make it a better place. It is in your hands to make a difference. Money won't create success. The freedom to make it will. Do not judge me by my successes. Judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again. Our human compassion binds us one to the other, not in pity or patronizingly, but as human beings who have learnt how to turn our common suffering into hope for the future. It is in your hands to create a better world for all who live in it. Let there be justice for all. Let there be peace for all. Let there be work, bread, water, and salt for all. It is better to lead from behind and to put others in front, especially when you celebrate victory when nice things occur. You take the front line when there is danger. Then people will appreciate your leadership. There is nothing like returning to a place that remains unchanged to find the ways in which you yourself have altered. May your choices reflect your hopes, not your fears. The sun shall never set on so glorious a human achievement. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. Let freedom reign. The sun never set on so glorious a human achievement. I was made by the law a criminal, not because of what I had done, but because of what I stood for, because of what I thought, because of my conscience. For to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. There is no such thing as part freedom. You can start changing our world for the better daily, no matter how small the action. I like friends who have independent minds because they tend to make you see problems from all angles. Man's goodness is a flame that can be hidden but never extinguished. If you talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to him in his language, that goes to his heart. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. Education is the great engine of personal development. We must use time wisely and forever realize that the time is always ripe to do right. There is no easy walk to freedom anywhere, and many of us will have to pass through the valley of the shadow of death again and again before we reach the mountaintop of our desires.